If you're a school or district leader, you've been around the block. Maybe like me, your first year teaching was interrupted by 3 separate hurricanes in the first term. Or you were serving on a Florida school board while navigating the wake of the tragic Parkland shooting.
And 2020 forced us to travel through uncharted territory. Trying to figure out how to feel or respond to the new normal seemed insurmountable. As a district coordinator of emerging technologies, I was struggling to find what was emerging other than hurdles to jump.
Effective school and district leaders are focused champions for our communities. We're able to juggle the demands of both the mundane and the pressing while still supporting the needs of our staff and students. But sometimes this focus and commitment can lead to overlooking our own professional needs. The truth of the situation is, if our bucket is empty, we can't serve others. If our mind is dusty, we can't teach others. And if our feet are aching, we can't show others the way.
So ask yourself, leaders, what are you modeling? Are you modeling a path to burnout or growth? On the runway of education, America's next top leaders are modeling self-care and a culture of cultivation. And you have the chance to be that model for yourself and for your team.
Now, when Brandie and I think about self-care for professional learning, we aren't just saying you should actually use your time off or attend the ISTE conference, though you should definitely do both. Instead, we are honing in on habits and practices that intentionally nurture your professional selves. Yes, I said selves. We think your current professional self and your emerging professional self, who you are and who you are becoming, both need and deserve to be taken care of.
Your current professional self is who you are right now. This self needs to be healthy and fulfilled to get the job done. We have learned that professional learning self-care for this self starts with curating what you let into your space, physically and mentally.
Workspace self-care used to look like live, laugh, love wall art and candy. But now we realize it could be ring lights and a lumbar pillow. It might be a vision board of what's important or a comfy chair to read books that support your own efforts instead of just those of others.
Honey, maybe it's just time for an extreme workspace makeover. We know that the characteristics of our physical workspaces create the possibilities or limitations of the way we see our professional lives. When you change your physical space, you literally change the way you see your world.
Now, when it comes to curating your mental space, we know that there are 2 types of people in the world.
Those who clean their inbox every day,
and those who have 49,000 unread email messages. It's time to declutter. Is that daily email from that tech company you don't use actually sparking joy? Do you really need one more webinar or book study this week? Love yourself by curating a newsfeed, a podcast list, a PD plan that truly inspires you and helps you to grow.
And while you're at it, curate your self-talk. Effective leadership comes from centering and caring for yourself first. It's both acceptable and necessary to celebrate yourself and your successes. And yes, sometimes you do deserve your own Amazon wish list. Permission granted.
Now, your emerging self. Too often, we save and invest in the futures of our students and staff, but not in ourselves. Professional learning self-care for your emerging self is all about preparing ourselves to be ready when the next door opens.
Nancye, do you remember when I called you with this crazy notion of becoming a classroom teacher at 43? I could feel the breeze from an open door, but didn't know how to get there. I wanted that refreshing air of newness, excitement, and challenge, but I was hesitant. Would this look like a career downgrade? And you said,
you know what it will look like? It'll look like you know what you want.
And now that I'm in the classroom, I feel like it's right within my reach. If you are feeling stuck or like you are fading into the background, it's probably time for some R&R. Self-care doesn't always look like resorts and relaxing massages. For culture creators and change agents, R&R is taking a huge risk forward and taking a step back to reflect.
We firmly believe that every single person, every single one of you, has the potential to be truly great. Caring for your emerging self is caring enough to give your current self a chance to accomplish all that you're capable of, guilt-free. Brandie and I haven't learned to care for our professional selves because it's been easy, but because we have encountered challenges, taken some heat, and been refined by the fire. We've learned that when we care for our current and emerging selves, we are cultivating our best selves.
There is no greater gift we can give to our school and district communities than bringing our best selves. Thank you for joining us today.
And remember, loving yourself isn't vanity.
It's sanity. Good night.
Good night.